The holidays are upon us, which means a whole lot of spending, both intentionally and unintentionally. Usually around this time of year, our budgets go out the window. So today we're going to talk about the top 9 holiday spending traps, what to look out for, and how to avoid them in the first place. Okay, let's get into it. First one, home decor trends. If you have been anywhere on social media, there is a good chance you have come across the Ralph Lauren Christmas trend.
I heard Ralph Lauren Christmas is the vibe that we're going for.
A Ralph Lauren Christmas is trend.
A Ralph Lauren Christmas.
It feels like it's everywhere right now. The problem with these trends, the problem with home decor trends in general, but specifically around the holidays, is that these seasonal trends are meant to make your home feel boring, old, and outdated. And so what is popping up this year is the Ralph Lauren Christmas trend. And we're gonna go through a quick video to show you how it became popular. It's not just on TikTok. This is a TikTok, but it is popular on YouTube and Instagram and in many of the popular magazine publications. Basically what the Ralph Lauren Christmas is, if you're not aware, is very rich velvets, tartan plaids, deep greens, deep reds. It's a nod back to old money and early 90s nostalgia. So before we talk about the problem with this whole trend, let's just watch the quick video so I can give you a recap. This video that we're gonna watch, I had to cut off the first minute because she had music and copyright issues. So basically what she talks about is that I think she's second generation working for Ralph Lauren. And so the thing that we miss is how her background with them. And then also she talks about how there are different types of plaids and you cannot mix the plaids. You have to put plaids in different rooms. So let's just quickly watch this together.
This leads me to my next point. What goes under the Christmas tree? We could maybe mix a few plaids of the same shade under the Christmas tree. We are not letting people bring their own wrapping paper and put presents under your tree. This goes high-low. Low, no bags. No bags. Boxes. Wrapped boxes. No bags, no bags, no gift bags. If someone brings a gift over to your house and you feel like you have to display it, it goes behind the tree. Concise, consistent wrapping paper. The same goes for Ralph Lauren Christmas in the opposite end. Orange bags? No. Chanel bags? No. Wrap it. Wrap it in one pattern, or one pattern and then the inverse of the same pattern with the same ribbon color on every single package. No overhead light anywhere. Maybe you have a chandelier that could have some sort of tiny lampshades, which we're going to swap out for red. Other than that, you want to have a Ralph Lauren Christmas at your house? I don't want to see a single overhead light on. Turn it off. Let's talk holiday signage. No signage. None. No ho ho ho. No swirly twirly. That is not a Ralph Lauren Christmas. It's not the same party. If you want a Ralph Lauren Christmas, we're speaking Merry Christmas. We're speaking ho ho ho. We're not printing it on a sign. We're not looking it on a wall. We're speaking Merry Christmas. Gosh, these are fun. Let me know in the comments what I horrified you about. I could go way harder, but I'm trying to keep it PC here.
She got a lot of crap, and I don't think it was warranted because it's easy to look at her and be like, oh, it's stupid to have rules and guidelines, but it's societal pressure. We are doing this to ourselves. If you go anywhere on social media and type in Ralph Lauren Christmas, it doesn't matter what platform, it is all over the place. Everybody is buying into this. And all she's saying is like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to follow these rules. But if you actually do want that aesthetic, if you do want the Ralph Lauren Christmas, these are the rules you have to follow. This is what it looks like. This is how you have to achieve it. So she's not saying you have to do it. She's just telling you how to do it if you want to do it. So I think it's fine. I am somebody who every single year would go out and buy a lot of Christmas decorations, which are not cheap. Between the lights and the ribbon and the bows and the bells, things add up very quickly. And for a very long time, I was swapping out I would keep some stuff that would roll over, but I'd always go buy a bunch of new stuff. And what would happen is that I would give my sister the stuff that I was replacing it with. And if I was still spending in that way, and if I was still doing that, I've kind of let go of that over the last 5 years. But if I was still doing that, this is a trend I would fall so hard for, because I kind of already followed this aesthetic anyway, not to this length. My parents were not strict like this at all. Like we had some signs up and stuff. But my mother did follow the aesthetic of solid red, green, gold, simple, one style wrapping paper. She's pretty specific about it. And so this is something that I would definitely fall prey to. The problem is that I have seen endless videos about people going to all sorts of places, from Restoration Hardware and Pottery Barn to Home Goods, buying items to achieve the Ralph Lauren Christmas. It's all over the place. And this stuff adds up so quickly. I consider Home Goods like the fast fashion for your home. And so even if you're going to Home Goods and you're buying a $30 thing here in a $20 thing here, it's still a monetary waste, because I'm assuming that if you are going out and buying all new decor to match this season's trend, it is a trend. That is the thing, is that there will be another one next year and it will probably look entirely different than this one. So then what are you going to do at that point? If it was me, like I would have done is I would have wasted hundreds of dollars and probably killed some of the environment with all the plastic that I was using. And I would go out and buy new stuff. And I would guess that a lot of people are doing the same thing. And so it feels harmless, but you actually pay for it in 3 ways. One, the emotional part, feeling like you always have to catch up. I felt like that before even being on social media and falling into the trends, these holiday decor trends. The other thing is that you're paying for it in storage. You're buying all of this stuff to have it out for 1 month out of the year, maybe 6 weeks. I think the goal here is that try to love what you have and figure out how to make your home, because this is what we want to achieve. We want to achieve a cozy, comfortable, holiday Christmas vibe, right? That's what we want. So how can you achieve that without going out and updating all the new Christmas decor in your home? Give me some Christmas lights and some holiday music and a glass of red wine and a candle maybe, and I'm so happy. I'm in the spirit for sure. So holiday decor trends, it is a trend. If everybody is doing it, I say this about every trend, it's not just clothing or makeup. If everybody is doing it, you know it's going to feel outdated next year. So just stick with what you have. Find the pieces that you love. Maybe you buy a few holiday pieces every year. Everybody has their own tradition with Christmas or just the holiday in general, which I love. So just find a few pieces that you'll carry over year after year. The one thing my sister's godmother, which was my mother's best friend, she was an artist and she always sent us 1 to 2 handmade holiday ornaments, and they were super simple. They were glazed clay, white, and it was either an angel or a tree, and they were not perfect, but that's just what made them great. And out of all of these years, she was doing this since I was a child. And out of all of these years and all the holiday stuff that has gone to my sister and then went to my dad's storage, those are the only ornaments that my sisters and I still want to hold on to and look forward to. All this other stuff really doesn't matter. So home decor trends, don't fall into them. End of the day, don't fall into them. Get yourself some twinkling lights, put on some holiday music, and bring some family and friends over. Advent calendars. Advent calendars, I would say, are one of brands and companies' most profitable holiday brands. And it's so smart. They take small samples, package them up into nice packaging, and significantly mark up the item. Because a lot of these advent calendars are expensive and they just keep getting more expensive. You're basically paying luxury prices for travel size products that likely cost next to nothing. And the thing is too, is that this also, I think the reason why a lot of people like these is that this hits into the dopamine reward, which is problematic. If you know anything about dopamine, is that the more dopamine hits you get, the more you need to satisfy that craving. If you have a shopping or a spending problem like me, I kept buying and buying and buying because at some point I became numb to that dopamine, and so I just needed more and more. It's literally like a drug. But that's why if you actually stop spending money for an extended amount of time, let's just say 6 months, it takes very little to get that little dopamine surge. But the thing is, with advent calendars, why they're so dangerous, not only are you paying high prices, big markups for a travel sample size, and it's so smart of them. The goal is not to sell you the advent calendar. The goal is to sell you after the calendar. Each day it's a fun new surprise, especially if you're an influencer, you do this on camera, it's a good video idea. So each day is a fun little surprise, small surprise. So by day 24, these brands and companies understand that you are primed to go out and buy full-size products. You're either going to become a loyal customer at that point, or you're going to at least buy one to a few full-size products. So it's kind of a win-win for them, in a lose-lose for us. For some reason, I don't know why, because I always watched the holiday videos. They were big on advent calendars, and I used to watch them, and for some reason, I always wanted them, but I've never purchased one. And it's shocking considering the amount of buying I did all year that I never purchased an advent calendar, but I never did. I would say avoid the advent calendar if you actually want something from the brand. That's the thing, is like you're paying these prices and you don't even know what you're gonna get. You might not even like the thing you're paying for. So it's just a smarter move that if you actually like this brand, great, go out and buy the full-size item you like. So I would avoid the advent calendar altogether. Holiday clothing hauls. This got me every year. I spend so much money on holiday clothing. It is nutty. Every year I would probably spend a good 2 weeks maybe trying to find outfits for holiday parties and also for New Year's Eve. And these would not be cheap items. I would not go to an H&M and buy a dress for, I don't even know if they go for there now, like what, $80? I would generally buy outfits that cost anywhere from $300 to $600 per item. And what would happen is that instead of me wearing it, the cycle would continue, and the next holiday, I would go through the same thing and research, and then buy, what, $1,000, maybe $2,000 worth of holiday outfits. My sister would get the old stuff, and then the trend would continue. Not maybe get it, but she would borrow it, because she always knew. She was a smart one, she borrowed. She just came to my closet and understood that I usually had something that she could wear. The problem with buying any occasion wear like this is that it has the worst cost per wear ratio of anything you will buy. That sequin dress, that metallic skirt, that velvet blazer will look great wearing it once usually, and then it will go and sit in your closet for 11 months and not do anything else, because there's a good chance you are not gonna pick up the sequin dress or the velvet blazer in March or June or even October or November. And so do not be like me. Try to borrow it like my sister, rent it. Rent the Runway has great evening wear. Try to rent it or rewear it. You know, if you have things that you wore in the past, you can wear it again. Nobody will remember. I always thought somebody would remember. Nobody would remember because nobody cares. If you are trying to spend less emotionally and manage your money with more intention, the tools you use really matter. And one tool that can really help simplify things is Current. And Current is a sponsor of today's video. Current is a modern banking app that keeps your savings and your spending separate. With Current, you can create savings pods and earn a bonus on savings up to 4% on limited balances. And I really like this feature because it separates your goal from day-to-day spending. For example, you can set up these separate pods with specific purposes and goals in mind. So for me, my savings pods will likely be Botox, because honestly, Botox is something I don't want to give up, but it is so expensive. So it's just so much easier to direct deposit some money into my savings pod so it can just sit there and grow. My other savings pods will likely be set up for my car fund, just in case something breaks down. I know that I'm contributing to this pod and that I have money there just in case something breaks. And then the same thing with my health and medical pod. Things are adding up. I already just got like 4 medical bills in the mail. And so if I had started these pods earlier, I would have already had a decent amount of money in there sitting and growing, ready to just pay a bill when something comes in. They also have a build card. And this was one of the most interesting things to me because I personally know people who will use this card. I have introduced this card to them to help them build their credit. A build card is a Visa secured charge card that helps you build credit safely with autopay. And so how it works is that every time you use the card, that amount is automatically set aside from your balance. At the end of the month, it essentially pays itself off and on time every time. What you're doing is you're building positive payment history with no interest or debt. The other benefit is that if you turn on direct deposit, you can get paid up to 2 days faster with direct deposit. And if you qualify, you get access to fee-free overdraft up to $200 on card purchases. And these two features can be extremely beneficial, especially if you're in a pinch. However, it is very important to remember, if you find yourself constantly overdrafting or needing an advance on your paycheck, that is a strong signal you have to go back to your budget and rework the numbers. But do not rely on this every single time. This is a good indication that you might be overspending. So if you want to simplify your money system and feel more in control, I encourage you to check out Current. You can get Current by going to current.com/lemon and use code lemon to get $50. Again, that's current.com/lemon, use code lemon to get $50. Banking services provided by Choice Financial Group and Cross River Bank. Members FDIC. Terms apply. See current.com/legal_disclaimers for details. Black Friday sales. This is where people go crazy. And I used to do the same thing. So I understand. I had list upon list upon list for my Black Friday sales. I don't do that anymore, obviously. Retailers are notorious for using compare prices, urgency, VIP sales, all to make you feel like you need to jump on it right away, right now. Honestly, some of the deals are good, but a lot of the time, these deals will come back mid to late January because the companies need to offload excess inventory. So you might even see the same deal of that was on the Black Friday sale, or even better in late January. Even if something is marked up to, let's say, 70% off, if you don't actually need the thing, then it's still 30% wasted on something that you actually probably didn't need. You just purchased because it was such a discount. How could you give it up? A deal only matters if you plan to buy it or would buy it at full price. And so I am not immune to Black Friday, okay? I do actually have a few things that I'm purchasing. It will be in an upcoming video, so you'll probably see that at some point soon. But the things on my list that I'm purchasing now or will be purchasing are things that I've been out of for about 2 months. They are items that I have used religiously, consistently for years, and that I would absolutely and have purchased at full price every single time I run out until now when there just happens to be a sale. So why not just wait for it to go on sale and then I will get a discount and save a little bit of money. But the difference here is that try not to buy something just because it's a deal. Only buy the thing if you're going to buy it anyway at full price and it just happens to be on sale, then wait it out a little bit and do it then. Just always remember that the value of the discount, even if it's 80% off, the value in the product is only in the usefulness, how much utility and use you get out of it, not in the discount percentage. It's really easy to fall into this trap, and I'll just give you a brief example. I have Rakuten, which is a Chrome extension, and if you shop online with this extension, you get cash back, which is great. It can be very useful if you're already buying something. Again, you would buy it at full price. You're buying it anyway. Why not get cash back? I don't use it as much anymore because I don't do the shopping I used to, but it's still on my work computer. And so when there is a massive cash back sale, I get an alert on my computer, my work computer. And I got one for Gap, and I think it was like 50% cash back for Gap. And for like 30 seconds, I thought, oh, I need to go buy something at Gap. There's nothing I need at Gap. There's nothing I need at Gap. There's nothing I want at Gap. But just seeing the percentage that I would get back, I felt like I should go spend the money just to get the reward of getting something back. When really I'd just be wasting my money spending money on something that I don't need or want and will probably not get used to its full advantage and will end up clutter and then decluttered at some point. Holiday gift sets. These have gotten me way too many times to count. Holiday gift sets look like good value, but really what brands do is they take multiple items, in many cases overstock items, bundle them together, put them in festive packaging, put a limited edition tag on it, and plug it as the perfect gift for your loved one. But that does not mean you're always getting value, unless the only way I say that these are valuable if you would have purchased each one independently on your own at full price. Then if you already are doing that and you would have done that, then it is a deal. But I would argue, for the most part, people are buying these sets because there's usually one item that they like in there, and then the other ones are a maybe. And so in reality, what you're doing is you're paying for presentation and you're paying for convenience, especially if it's in the form of a gift. And so before you buy that gift set, because it says valued at $400, but priced at $95, before you do that, ask yourself, do I need all of these items or do I just need the one item? And if it's just the one item, skip the gift set, buy the one item at full price, because buying fewer, better, loved items is much better than buying so-so items just because they're in a bundle. Budget fatigue. All of us need to watch out for budget fatigue because it is a real thing and it is so easy to fall into. This is a trap and we're not gonna fall for it. Seriously, it's so hard. It's like a diet. If you eat healthy and this is where our diets go out the window. Everything goes out the window during the holidays. We're like, yeah, nothing matters. Let's just like pay for it in January. And so we just forget about responsibilities and we kind of just let everything go and do what we want to do. But this is not ideal. And so budget fatigue really creeps in around mid-December because you've been choosing gifts, you've been choosing holiday decor, you've been choosing meals, you've been dealing with travel plans. The more decision fatigue you have and the more drained you are between that and usually working, the more impulsive you likely are. The less likely you are to look at your budget and look at what you actually have allocated to certain categories, and the more likely you are to just spend on things you didn't plan on spending on. And these things add up so fast. If you can, make the heavy decisions early on, as early as possible. Whatever the heavy holiday decisions are for you, define your budget very early on. Figure out what you're allocating for gifts and decor or food, because if you have that clearly defined and you look at it every day, if you need to, look at it every day, because when you are tired or when you are emotional or when you are just feeling like you do not care, that budget will protect you. I promise. You just have to look at it every day. Just be mindful, put money aside in certain categories and look at it every day. It will protect you and you will love yourself in January. Influencer gift guides are all over the place right now.
These are the things that I would ask for Christmas if I didn't already have them.
Here's everything I'd put on my Christmas wish list if I didn't already own it.
Things I would put on my Christmas list if I didn't already have them. You're gonna wanna lock in. We have a lot to go through.
Literally every single social platform. It feels like every other video is an influencer gift guide, whether their gift guide is what I would give to other people or what I'm asking for myself, or if I didn't already own this, this is what I would ask for, basically saying like, this is what I recommend. Most favorites videos or influencer gift guides are less about sharing and more about selling, because most of these videos are thinly disguised ads because they all have affiliate links, every single one of them. They're like, I'll link every single thing in my Shop My or Amazon storefront. And it's not to say that these influencers are bad for doing this. I don't blame them. I understand exactly why they do it. They probably genuinely like these products. It's likely a curated list of things that they have tried and tested and genuinely love. But it's still important to keep in mind, at the end of the day, each one of these videos, it's still a business model. And so maybe you just like to watch those videos, just watch them, great. But if you find yourself being persuaded by some of these videos, just ask yourself why. Like literally, what are you feeling when you're watching the video? What if you find something and they're talking about this thing that they're obsessed with and it is a must-have and it is a game changer and it will change your life in some way? What is the story you're telling yourself? Like literally ask yourself that. You have to look at yourself as a third person. Like almost imagine as though you are standing over yourself, looking down. What is the story you're telling yourself? Why do you want that thing so badly? And ask yourself, would you want it so bad if you had seen it out in the wild and nobody had talked about it? Would it be that intriguing? I'll give you an example. The Rhode, RHODE, the Rhode skincare has been all over the place. It's been viral and trending for quite a while now. Specifically, I think this milky cream, I think it's a toner. I'm not exactly sure. I'm spacing on it right now. Everybody talks about this as like the game changer. It is the best thing ever. I would bet if I was me 2 years ago, I would have instantly picked up that product and said the same thing. It is the best thing ever. My skin feels so nice. Just because it's almost like a placebo effect. I feel like because everybody else is saying this, then it's definitely happening to me too. However, if I never heard of Rhode skincare and I'd gone into a Sephora and just picked it up randomly and put the product in my hand and, you know, patted it on the back of my hand and felt it, I probably would have been like, yeah, it's nice. It's fine, you know? It's not like wooing me here, but it's fine. But it's just because of the social pressure and the social climate that we feel like these things are so important and irresistible to us. Buy now, pay later is a huge holiday spending trap. I feel like, I don't know if we're gonna see a lot of videos on people coming out saying that they're in a lot of trouble because of using buy now, pay later on the holidays, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is gonna happen. It's gonna put a lot of people in trouble. It feels like flexibility, but really with these platforms is that you're just delaying the cost to a later date. You're just putting it off to your future self so that that person can deal with it. And so if you can't pay for the thing now, then my suggestion is try not to buy it at all. I think these things can be really dangerous because there's something called, that behavioral economists call decoupling, where you separate the pain from the pleasure and you are not feeling the pain because you're not buying the whole thing right away. And so it feels so easy, and that is the dangerous thing. I just listened to a podcast on NPR on a girl that purchased this, and she said she was always hesitant to go into credit card debt. She was always smart with her credit cards, but she was watching influencers all the time. Like, she literally said that. She was like, there was influencers I loved, fitness influencers specifically, and they started like selling all these products, workout gear and bathing suits and dresses. And she said she went on, and the first thing she saw was the bathing suit that the influencer recommended. It was $200. She goes, oh, this is too expensive. I don't know if I can afford this. She's in the checkout and she sees the buy now, pay later. And I think it takes her down to like $21. And she says there, she's like, that was the start of it, because it literally felt like it was free.
The price was somewhere around $200 for the bikini.
4 interest-free payments of $41.99.
It just felt so cheap. I'm like, wow, I'm paying $41 for a $200 bikini. Like, I am a genius.
She's like, I felt like I had tricked the system somehow, and that I was just like getting all this stuff at such a severe discount, not realizing that she would have to pay for it later. And so the moral of the story is what happened is she bought the dress and the workout gear and the bathing suit. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, she noticed that she got a bill in for $2,000, and then she had about $2,000 in her checking account, and all but about $7 of that was deducted automatically. And she was like, that was such a slap in the face. I didn't listen to the end of it to see if she overcame it and if she's like gotten out of it. All of this to say, buy now, pay later can be a huge trap during the holidays. So my suggestion is to just try to avoid it at all costs. I am losing so much light, so I don't know what this is gonna look like, but it gets so dark so early now, so I have to wrap this up. But the other one is gift giving, and I have some very strong feelings around gift giving. My personal opinion, I don't know if anybody's gonna agree with me, but gift giving is a social construct. It is not a moral obligation. I used to go so overboard with my gift giving with everyone in my life, because honestly, the reason why I did this is because I tend to be I'm not very affectionate. I'm not outward with my emotions. I have difficulty expressing how much I love somebody. And so I've been told by many people that I'm quite cold. And the way that I showed my love, especially during the holidays, to my loved ones was through gifts. And I always felt like it was never enough. So I would go so overboard. I would buy thousands of dollars worth of gifts just to be like, hey, I'm making up for the whole year, my lack of affection, adoration, and love. Here you go. Here's a bunch of stuff. But I stopped doing that because what I tended to realize is that I don't want anything. I don't want anything from anyone, because for the most part, they're probably going to get me something that I don't like, that I don't want. I'm going to have to keep out of obligation. It's going to sit in my space, collect dust. It's going to be something that I have to manage or at least look at until at one point I decide I'm ready to declutter it. And also the same thing, I have to go out and buy something for someone. I don't know if they actually want it. I don't know if they're going to use it. And I think Now, when we spend money, the focus should be on value and usefulness and utility. Buy something if you will get so much value out of it and you know it'll be worth it. But that person, the recipient of the gift, most likely won't get the value out of it. And I won't get the value out of what they purchase. And so let's say they bought me a gift for $100. It's likely I will not get the $100 worth of value from what they spent. It will likely go into a closet or a drawer. I just think it's all a waste. It's all a waste. Why are adults giving gifts? Like why? All right, I feel like I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't. And I'm sorry if I do. But I just think it's so weird for grown adults to be like, this is my Christmas list. This is the list I'm going to give to who? I don't even know who you give a Christmas list to. But it's a thing because I see so many people like, maybe I'll put that on my Christmas list this year. What are we doing? We are grown adults. Why? If you actually want something, go out and buy the thing. This is the thing I said with my partner. I'm like, look, if I really want something, I'll go out and buy it. If you want something, you go out and you buy it. And then maybe though, what we could do is just, save and go for a trip or go have an experience somewhere, which we'll likely do at some point. But yeah, the whole gift giving thing, I'm like, let's just not do it. So just keep in mind that the holidays are the perfect storm of pressure, societal pressure, internal pressure, emotional pressure. We all just feel like we need to spend so much and we really don't. There are so many things that we actually don't need to buy or we could do for a lot less. Let's just be practical, avoid the trends, and do our best to stick to our budgets, do our best to look at our budgets daily and stick to our budgets and not go into debt. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks.